it doesn't sit well with me if someone doesn't like me.
Really?
Yes. And my reason behind it was because I know I'm loving and I know I'm compassionate and I know how I am with people.
Yeah.
So in my mind,
Yeah.
if you don't like me, it's you. It's not me.
It's not me. And growing older, I think I went through a period where I was so rebellious because all of that rejection was turning into resentment, and I was becoming so angry. And then I met people who saw the good in me, the potential in me. And so I became a perfectionist as a way to not be rejected. Hello. Hey, sister.
Hey, girlfriend.
Hey, girlfriend. So, I hope people are watching. And I hope by now somebody knows my name is Shirley.
God's watching. I'm Erica.
Oh, God is always watching. He is here in this place. This is divine. This is a divine assignment. This is
Growth and grace.
Growth and grace. And grace and growth. So I keep messing up the lingo, but this is God's podcast expressed through Shirley
and Erica.
My sister.
Sí, claro, your sister.
My sister. We got the same mama, same daddy. She's also my friend. Such a special friend.
I'm so happy that you call me your friend.
Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day.
What?
What does it feel like for you to be rejected?
Ew,
ghetto.
So, I was asked what my sign was, and I was like, I'm a Libra, and this, that, and the third, just explaining like my qualities or characteristics as a Libra.
How do you balance that astrology thing with Christianity?
You won't let me answer the first question. Speaking of astrology, I was explaining that like part of my person, like I'm loving, I'm fun, I'm super compassionate. Yes. And I was telling him like how...
Who is him?
We should just go with the flow of it. And I was saying how I like, it doesn't sit well with me if someone doesn't like me.
Really?
Yes. And my reason behind it was because I know I'm loving and I know I'm compassionate and I know how I am with people. Yeah. So in my mind, if you don't like me, it's you. It's not me.
It's not me.
So that's kind of like the same thing as rejecting. Someone rejecting me. Yeah. They're not taken to me. And I don't like it. Yeah. I feel like you should want to be around me.
Duh. Right.
Like, because I feel like I bring joy and I bring positivity and I think I do. Yeah. So in that, and I've been rejected by friends. Mm-hmm. I've been rejected by people who, like men I've loved in the past, and and it didn't feel good. Yeah. And you could think back to it and feel it still.
Yes. It like rejection is a physical feeling. Oh. It lives in your body.
It does.
Yeah.
And it manifests. You could be sad about it. You're not yourself. Like, you apply for a job and you're the perfect candidate. Yeah. And like they're like, no, we found someone who fits it a little better, and you like, wait, what?
I fit it better.
I fit it, right? I was the job.
I am that role,
baby. Yeah. So I don't like nobody's rejection. Yeah. But that's human me. Yep. That's me, and being vulnerable and honest. I don't like it.
I wonder if that's a piece of God within us. If like that quality of being grieved by being rejected comes from God.
Well, he don't like it neither.
Especially when his people rejects him. It grieves him, right? So there might be something in there for us to look at. So my relationship with rejection, I'm working it out, because what I realize is when I was little, I was rejected so much for being who I was, right?
They wanted you to get in line.
Everybody wanted me to get in line. Everybody wanted me to conform. I was to this, to that. And so when I saw people that I looked up to or who had authority over me saying, hush, quiet down, change, that is a form of rejection, right? Because who I am authentically and who I love to be doesn't work for you, people who I look up to, who I admire, who I believe are like the apples of my eye, right? So in growing older, I think I went through a period where I was so rebellious because that all of that rejection was turning into resentment, and I was becoming so angry. And then I met people who saw the good in me, the potential in me. And so I became a perfectionist as a way to not be rejected. Because I'm like, okay, well, if I just get it right.
I wonder if I do that now.
Yeah, you do that. You do that. If I just get it right, then you can't tell me no. Then I will be good enough. And so, yeah. And then when...
So it ties in with your self-worth?
It did. But I think I'm now in a new place. Where, that over these past few years, I've had very big experiences of rejection, and I had to start looking at where I was assigning value. So much value that it was crushing me when people said, I don't want you. And when people said, I don't want you, whether it be somebody I was dating or a client I'm looking to acquire, or I don't know, anybody saying, I don't want you, and I would feel what is this? The shattering of the spirit. I started to say, well, if God wants me and I'm perfect, whole, and complete in the mind of God, there's a paradox here. There's a huge contradiction, and I'm believing something that's causing me pain. Truth and God will never cause me pain. So I'm believing what the other people are saying about me and assigning so much meaning to it. Right. I'm taking that rejection when often it don't have anything to do with me and all about the other person. But I'm taking this rejection and internalizing it and making it more, creating a whole story about it, which is causing me anxiety and fear and eating at my self-worth and my confidence and my esteem. And so now I'm at a place where I'm working really hard to stay focused on what God has told me to be true. And if anything comes into my experience, any kind of input that's contrary to that, making sure that I don't give that any power, because rejection can be, I've experienced it when it has put me in depression.
To shatter you.
Shatter. Yeah. Shatter. And so there's an opportunity, and me and my therapist have talked about this. Like, so many people said, like, rejection is God's protection. Like,
we love a good rhyme, honey.
We love
Oh, sorry.
Rejection, what's your reflection? You can't harm me. Rejection, right? Like, we love to make a whole rap song out of.
I wish they hush.
It hurts. especially
I don't want it.
I don't want this. Especially, so I'm working right now actively to create a healthier relationship with rejection, and knowing that no one can reject me but God. And anytime someone tells me no, I get the sentiment of rejection as God's protection. Yes, sometimes God is putting a spirit on those people to tell me no, so that he can continue to direct me in the path that he's looking to put me in. Mm-hmm. Then I look at it from a place of, it's one thing to be rejected by humanity, but what is it to be rejected by God? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Have you ever been in an experience where you felt like this is rejection from God?
No.
That's good.
I only feel like, yes, rejection hurts. It sucks.
Yeah.
But in the end, it always works out. That no is like their no. That's their no.
Yeah.
But it's not no to life. It's just no to a circumstance.
Yeah.
And chances are the yes is bigger and better anyways somewhere else. So I never feel like God has rejected any of my like plans or goals, or like he just, like you said, navigates me in a different way than I thought made sense. So I feel very comfortable in saying that too.
Yeah, I feel like I've been rejected by God before.
Why?
Because of my positioning. Because I wasn't living a life that was acceptable to God. And the result was being rejected. And so, like, I think about the story of Saul, where God, actually, we could go before we could start with how we got to Saul, which was when Samuel had appointed judges over Israel, and then the elders came to Samuel and said, we want a king. We want to be like the other nations, which is dangerous all in itself, because you look at the other nations who had kings. Sodom and Gomorrah had a king, destroyed.
You can look at now.
Right. So they come and they say, we want a king. And so Samuel was displeased. So then Samuel prayed. He prays to God, and God says, and I think God says this because God knew that Samuel was taking it personal. But God said to Samuel, it's okay. They haven't rejected you. They've rejected me. And then you look at Leviticus, when the same word rejection comes up, which means to refuse, God says, because you have rejected me, I will reject you. And so when I say about my positioning, the times where I could be wrong, where I believe I was experiencing rejection from God, it was because I had stepped out of alignment with God, and I wasn't living a life where God could reach me, right? And in that, God can't accept that. God can't accept my behavior that's out of alignment with the Spirit. So in that, I think just by law, he has to reject it, which means any fruits that come from those works of me living out of alignment with God will be rejected. And so when you go back to the story with when the elders came to Samuel and said, we want a king, God said, let him have it.
Yeah.
He said, but here, and then you tell him this, here's all the awful things that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And so in the me thinking about like the rejection from God, you can look at like your fruits and say, oh, it looks like this. It looks like pain and suffering and like not being able to advance. But I believe as long as I remain in good standing with God and just do what he asks me to do, which is reasonable, that it's impossible for me to be rejected.
Yeah. I guess I never felt like I was necessarily rejected because I always feel like God has always veered me back to where like I needed to be.
Yeah.
And I'm not perfect, and he has that expectation of me to behave like a human. That's why I need him so much.
Yeah.
So, you know, I never felt like I was rejected by him, and I'm no saint, but I feel like, you know, he definitely, like, I've bared great fruits, you know, when I was and being in alignment with him and not being in alignment with him. I think that I don't know, rejection from God, I feel like it would have been just so much deeper. You know what I mean? Like I would remember it. Like it would be something where I'd be like, well, won't be doing that again, because that's just not of God. And
does it have to be that deep though?
I don't know. I'm just thinking like, this is how I would picture it.
Yeah.
You know? Like he makes a statement and you hear it.
If you're listening.
Yeah.
If you tuned in.
Yeah, I mean, the people rejected Jesus. So I shouldn't, in saying that, it's funny that I'm even surprised that people reject me sometimes.
Ooh, that part.
Because he was a perfect human.
Yeah.
And the moment he opened his mouth and it was clear, like, these people believed he was the Messiah, you had plenty of people who was like, can't be. Ain't even meet him yet.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he can't be. If he was supposed to be the Messiah, then why is this still going on?
Yeah.
And, you know, why are we still having, he's supposed to fix everything. Meanwhile, he fixing stuff. He healing the broken, and he's leading people back to God, and he's showing them how to create a relationship with God. And they still rejected him. Yeah. So even in knowing that, which is a lesson for me, and saying it right now, like I don't do well with rejection, but I guess it should be expected.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, as humans, we rejected the perfect person, and I'm not perfect, so.
Yeah, Jesus was the blueprint of what's to come for anybody that will follow him. Anything that he went through, we will in some way, shape, or form take on a similar experience. And I think the more, and this is my experience, the more I live loudly, authentically, and unapologetically, my rejection increases. Just from me being who I am, my mere existence offends people, and they don't want it. It's no, that's family.
Yeah.
People out in the world, like, no, I am just It don't work for a lot of people, and they reject it. I think it's also something to be celebrated. Rejection. Yeah.
Why so?
One, God says rejoice in all things, and again I say rejoice. Rejection is a part of the all things. Two, when I'm rejected by the world, I know I'm doing God's work.
Great. You're stepping right outside the norm, or the worldly, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm distinctive. I'm separate. I'm apart. They choking on it. It's too much. That's my good news. I am here. I told this to my friend the other day when she brought up something, and I don't even know what her point in bringing it up was, but she talked about how we were somewhere and people were asking some stuff about me, and I was like, I don't care what they got to say.
Right.
I know, like, me and God got a thing, an intimate, personalized thing, and I do what I do as a part of me being in service to him, and if it offends them, good.
Wow. Good.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
Like getting to a place where I not only do, Jesus was so unbothered because he knew, when you know who God is, what is man?
Oof.
That I should be mindful of him. When you know who God is. So in that, there's an opportunity to celebrate in the rejection, because I know I'm doing God's work. I know God is pleased. The more y'all act a fool, because when I'm in alignment with God and doing what he asked me to do, I know he on his throne. Says Stephen, when he was being stoned, he looked up, and to the right of God, Jesus was standing. And I know, I imagine that same visual when I'm being rejected by. Now, it don't always stick. That's not my go-to, but it's like a practice that I have to like keep bringing into my imagination. Yeah. But what'd you say? I always say, I'm just learning and growing.
What am I? What was that video?
That video
Who am
he
I?
was like, you sent me this video of this dude who was like, who am I? And where do I come from? He was like, this is
every
you
night.
every day. Who am I?
Who am
and where do
I?
I come from?
I am learning.
I'm learning.
And I'll be like, girl, you've been learning and learning and learning.
Ooh.
Oh, what's that, man?
Until the casket drop. So yeah, rejection.
When Jesus says
yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. Whoop, whoop. All right. So, how do you deal with rejection? If there's scriptures that you know of that are really helpful in you navigating rejection, share it.
Please share your rejection stories, because I love a good story too.
Yeah. We should maybe send in some rejection stories so we could read them and have some fun around them.
Yeah. I got good rejection stories.
You too?
Yeah.
All right. We love y'all.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.